Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to
Hello.
Queen Mother Speaks. Here we are in we're actually in season 14, and this is episode number 8. Let us do our countdown with you.
Todo este parte de un plan. Esto es matarte con flow animal. Esto me para convertirte fan. Muévete al ritmo del bam, bidi bam. Bam, bidi bam, bidi bidi bam, bam.
All right, so technology. I'm still trying to figure some of it out. We're in the beginning of our fourth year for Queen Mother Speaks. In fact, come July, we will have been on the air for 4 years. And we're still mulling over a thought in terms of our theme for the 2024 year. So tell me, what do you think our theme should be? We're going over it. We need you to help us with a theme. Help us out. Send us what you think the Queen Mother Speaks theme can be. I'd like to give a shout out to Solo and Jennifer Sosu in Orlando, Florida, Kathy King and Rosemary Johnson and Marilyn Lewis from Florida. But I just found out that Rosemary and Kathy moved to another state, so they are no longer in Florida. I want you to know that both Nana and Coach Ra is in the house today. We're very happy about that. Nana, who's in studio?
Hi, greetings everyone. I am excited to tell you that we have our health coach Rakaya Murphy in the house. We have Zelma Hill Holiday, the author of Revelations of a Sharecropper's Granddaughter. So we are excited and have a great show coming up. So call your friends, call your family, and tell them that Queen Mother Speaks is on the air. Start a watch party. You can tune in to us on Facebook.com, Queen Mother Speaks, or my author's page / Teresa R. Kemp. We're also on
Or
YouTube.
Rakaya Murphy. Or Rakaya
Yes,
Murphy at Facebook.
right. And hers doesn't stream live, but it will be uploaded right after the show. So we are very excited to have you all here with us today. So let's go ahead and let everybody give a shout out to our audience. Zelma, go ahead. Say
Just
hello
want
to
to,
our audience.
oh, hello, audience. Hello, everybody.
Now, we do have a technical delay.
Okay.
It,
Rakaya, go ahead and greet everyone.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It appears that our guest is a little on the shy side, but she is going to bring some very exciting news for you, information on a
Absolutely.
book. We're glad to be here. God is good. God is great. Let's do it. Back to you, Queen.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and start the show right now. So, Coach Raw, why don't you just come right back in and invite everybody to get relaxed and be in the show?
Okay, stay tuned for the Selma Holiday story over to you. I am Rakia Murphy, your health and wellness coach, and I invite you to get relaxed and ready for this awesome show. Hit the like button, share, comment button, and remember to tell your friends to go to Facebook / Queen Mother Speak or also on YouTube. Continue
Hmm.
to wash your hands. Keep yourself safe and alert. We thank you
Yep.
for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks, a safe space for information, inspiration, and expression. Bonga da bonga, a new platform for women voices is here. Catch them live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Kenya time at uh,
5
.com.
p.m.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for tuning in. The Honorable Margaret
Totally.
Tolly, Shreya, Rose, Muwari, Anju,
Mm-hmm.
Jay, Mgwagi, Parita, Rose, Okalo, Maurice, Obuyu, and Estella from Kenya. What is Queen Mother Speaks? Queen Mother Speaks is a community platform for wealthy conversations and matters, contemporary and insights to raise awareness, to inform, to inspire, to ignite, to involve, enlighten, educate, laugh, updates on expatriating to Africa, words on newsworthy events, wisdom from the elders, warm, witty dialogue with guests, and a boutique of quotes and WIN inspirational verses. Back to you, Queen.
Thank you so much, Rakaya. So right now, what we're going to do here on the Queen Mother Speak Show is we're going to do our breathing session. As you may recall, during pandemic, we got in touch with people from the Art of Living Institute, and they have now become a part of the Queen Mother Speak Show. They will be coming back to us, giving you different types of breathing. But today, we're just going to do a simple breath. We're going to do it 3 times. And the way it works is like this: you breathe in through your nostril to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Hold to the count of 6. And then you want to release very slowly through the mouth. Very slowly. Okay. So breathe in 6, hold 6, and exhale slowly to the count of 10. Okay. Sorry for the delay, but we're ready. Everybody, let's go. Breathe in. So I want you to listen to me. I'm going to close my eyes because what's happening on the screen and what I'm saying is not necessarily lining up. But what I want you to do is to do the instruction. Breathe in to the count of 6. Hold to the count of 6. And release slowly through the mouth or nose to the count of 10. Let's go. Hold. Release. Once again, breathe in slowly to the count of 6. Hold. I'm going to ask you to do that with me once more. And I want you to focus on your breath as you are breathing. Let's do it. Breathe in. That was good. I hope you enjoyed that breathing technique. And what we know is that when you breathe, you get a chance to touch your own inner peace. And breathing exercises actually help to reduce some of your stress by increasing your oxygen intake. I will also tell you that when you're making a trip to the doctor and you're going to have your blood pressure checked, you can sit there and breathe, and it will actually bring your pressure down. It's true. It'll actually bring your pressure down. Okay. So let's see, let's check the time. Okay, we're going to do our affirmation. And our affirmation today is on willingness. I'm going to repeat the topic of the affirmation 3 times, and Queen Mother wants you to listen with your heart as I give you the affirmation for today. Okay. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. To forgive is a willingness to be free. When you forgive, you're declaring and accepting that what happened is in the past. You are declaring and accepting that what happened is in the past and it could not have been different based on all of the circumstances and the consciousness that produced it. When you refuse to forgive, excuse me, when you refuse to forgive, you're holding on to emotional energy that hinders your freedom. I'm a witness. Your life is in your hands. Commit to your spiritual liberation and with love and self compassion, release all of that no longer serves you. Just release it. Your heart and mind are incubators for peace and well being. I forgive myself. I forgive those who hurt me. I forgive because I am choosing to be free. In times where I find that it's hard to forgive, I forgive myself for not wanting to forgive, for being unwilling or not ready to forgive. I still choose forgiveness as a daily spiritual practice. I'm free. Thank you, faith, in me, through me, as me, around me, and the Christ within. Our scripture reading, and be kind one to another and tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God has forgiven us through Christ. That is Ephesians 4:32. Okay, so we know that the month of February is in the realm of spirituality, and February itself amplifies the energy of love, encouraging us to deepen our connections with each other and to deepen our connections with ourselves. It's a time to reflect on important things: compassion, forgiveness, and kindness, as well as allow us to be able to interact with those that are around us. Tell me, in this 21st day of the new year, in the month of February, I've really had reason to be upset because I wasn't willing to forgive. And I'm saying to you, I want to ask you, Nana, and I'm going to ask you, Rob, what do you do? What do you do, right? When you want to forgive and you don't feel like forgiving, you're not ready to forgive. What do you do?
Uh, well, I had a situation that happened in 2019, and it took me to 2023 to let it go. I just felt that I was violated. I felt that I was hurt. I was hurt, and I refused to forgive. And
Mm-hmm.
finally, I wrote a letter to my to the one who
The
caused the
person.
situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it in the Bible. And then during my mom's worsening of her condition, I had to let it go. I had to let it go because I had to allow room for some other things that were more important than that situation. Do you
Okay.
understand? At
Yep.
that
Yeah, I
point,
got it.
I had no room. I had no more
Woo.
room to hold
That's right.
animosity,
Just pour.
or because I needed to free up some space
Yeah.
to allow some other. That's interesting. That's really interesting because
Nana,
at the moment,
Nana,
at
okay,
the moment,
we
had I
just
not
wanted a
let it.
short view. We just wanted a short view.
Oh, I'm
Nana,
giving too much. Well, let me finish it.
yeah,
At
you
the moment,
just
had I not let it go, I think that it would have sent me over the edge. Back to you, Nana. I'm sorry.
For sure. So audience, host, co-host. Today, this year, in February, a celebration of Black History Month with the theme African American in the Arts, we find that the art is infused with African, Caribbean, and Black America that have lived experiences. We are pleased to present the cultural expression, The Art of Writing with Zelma Holiday. We're pleased to present her new book, which just dropped 2 weeks ago. Go get it. Go get it.
Go
It is
get
a
it.
must read. Josh, you're delayed.
I know. Go ahead and give her an introduction.
I am. Her book is called Revelations of a Sharecropper's Daughter. She's 81 years young, and her book was released 2 weeks ago. It is about the stories that she remembers about being told about a grandfather that was a slave and after slavery became a sharecropper, which was slavery by another name. Already on Amazon, the book is described as within each African American family lies a unique story, a treatment to resilience and the ability to rise above circumstances. Zelma Holliday's book, Revelations of a Sharecropper's Daughter, vividly accounts the bitter realities of sharecropping in the South and showcases the unwavering strength of a family
Mm.
determined, let me say that word again, determined to overcome their adversities. Holliday's exceptional storytelling capabilities captivates her readers' minds and emotions, transporting them through these historical experiences. So get ready for an exciting view into her book. Greetings,
Okay.
Miss Zel.
Queen Coach.
I'll go find Rakaya.
Okay. Let's add
There
her.
she is. There she is. Hey,
Coach.
Ra. We got you back. Oh, she's not back.
African American and the Arts.
There she
And
is.
featured in house guest, new author Miss Zelda Holiday. About her born October the 8th, 1942. She bore three children and considers herself a Hebrew Israelite. For this past 8 years, she grew up Baptist. Oh, she has been an Hebrew Israelite for the past 8 years. I apologize. She grew up Baptist and became a member of the Church of Christ in 1987, where she developed a love for scriptures and began memorizing passages. She can,
Mhm.
she can quote all of Psalms 119 and 179. She
No, it's
loves
telling us she can report all 179 verses of the Psalms 119.
She
Ha!
can, okay. She loves keeping up with what is going on in the world via social media. She does not watch or trust mainstream media. She believes in all. She believes all propaganda and control is controlled by few families. I do too. She loves playing solitaire. When she goes on a walk, she likes to speed walk, and she works out hard when she gets in the gym. She was married over 50 years
It would.
uh, to Robert Holiday Sr. Oh, before he passed in 2011. My sympathies. As a result of cancer treatment destroying his liver, destroying his liver, according to the physician treating him. She also loves music from the 50s and 70s, and she loves to dance. Mama Zelda, welcome to Queen Mother
All
Speaks.
right. All right. As you can see, we're very hyped up about this book. By the way, I'm going to say that Mama Zelda and 4 generations of her family, this is a very amazing fact, moved to Kenya. They packed their bags and they got out of America and they moved to Kenya. 4 generations of healers. She's also the mother of our healer, Queen Odessa Bell. She is the mother of Queen Odessa. So I just wanted to throw that in. We're very happy that you're here today. And I actually met Zelma right here in Nairobi, Kenya. So now, what state, Zelma, were you born in?
I was Alabama.
Okay. And I've learned that you have 3 siblings. Where do you fall amongst the 3?
9. It's 9 of us. I'm number 2.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, I received that you had 3 siblings. Okay. You're number 2.
Brother, I
Was
wish
the
I
first
did.
one also a girl or a boy?
My brother Jesse, he was a boy. He's 2
Okay.
years older than me.
I see.
Born in
I see.
1940.
Mhm. Okay. So tell us about your education in Alabama growing up. Where in Alabama?
I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama,
Okay.
in a small county called Alberta City, which is about 56 miles from Birmingham, west of
Ah,
Birmingham. It is.
okay, okay, okay. Um, was there any teacher at that particular juncture in your life who influenced you in any way to write or anything growing up?
I don't know if she influenced me or not, but my 12th grade teacher, Mrs.
Uh-huh,
Jefferson, she
uh-huh.
told me one day that I was going to be a writer.
Aha. Okay, okay. All right. Nana,
But
Nana, you've got some questions for her?
can't hear her.
She's
No,
on mute.
no sound.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Okay. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties. I'm here in the United States. You all, Rakaya and I are here in America. I'm in Columbus. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. And you all are in Nairobi, Kenya. So we're experiencing some technical difficulties with them. So is this your first book?
Yes, it is.
Oh, did it take you a long time to write it or be inspired, or have you been working on it all your life and finally just got it out into the open?
I guess my daughter said I started about 10 years ago, but I put it on the shelf until I
Okay.
came over here and got a whole lot of encouragement. I had a couple of people encourage me in America, but Queen Mother, she encouraged
Mm-hmm.
me more than anybody. And then my daughter put me on the spot because she told everybody about it. So then I
Yep.
had to do something about it. Yeah.
So for our audience, let us know. Is it available on Amazon?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Hi. It is available on Amazon. I sent
Okay.
the link. So if you go on Amazon and you just type in the name of the book, it will come up and you can purchase it there in the United States.
Mhm.
And here we have copies here in Nairobi also. So whether you're in Nairobi or you're in the United States, you can get the book.
Okay. All right. So I'm curious about your father and grandfather. What state was your father born in? Let's start there.
Well, my father was born in Alabama, about
Mm-hmm.
3 miles from where I was born, and he
Mhm.
Wow.
was born in 1913.
Okay. And then what about your grandfather?
Well, my grandfather that I wrote about, he was born in 1853, which
Okay.
made him eligible for slavery in 1865. When
Okay.
turned 12 years old.
Okay.
Mm.
So he was born right as slavery was ended. And did he
Yeah.
stay on the same plantation or did he move?
No, after slavery, they started the migration. I don't know how long they stayed behind, but they started the migration, and they end up in Alabama, in
Okay.
Greensboro, Alabama, Hale County,
Okay.
Alabama.
So then
Mhm.
what was interesting to me was you had stated that your grandfather became a slave in 1865. slavery in America, it's really fascinating. I'm the historian. So in 1807, Wilberforce and England had abolished slavery worldwide. And America continued slaving until the Civil War, and it was abolished, and we were emancipated in 1863. But as most people know, they didn't get the news throughout the country. So by 1865, then people were forced to give up slaves. But in the southern parts of America, in Texas, that's why we have Juneteenth, they didn't get the news until later. And then some plantation owners took all the people and went to Brazil and South America and continued slaving till 1895. But my question is, how could your grandfather become a slave in 1865?
All I know is the year that slavery
No, what
ended.
she's saying is at 12 years old.
Oh, at 12 years old, because he said it was the age when a child became a slave. At 12 years old, he was eligible. And I believe they get it from their culture. Like, for instance, Christ, when he came 12 years old, he began his ministry. Yes.
So what she's asking me, she's saying slavery in 1864. How did he become a slave in 1865?
All I know is he became a slave the year that the Civil War started. The year of the Civil War. That's what I was
ended.
In the year.
The Civil War. Yeah.
And did you all find out where he was enslaved?
So that means he was born 12 years before that.
Right.
Yes. He was somewhere in South Carolina. We don't know where. He went back there to visit, was to see his people that was left behind, but they never told. My grandmother said he never said why, where.
Okay. Well, I can probably help you with that. And so as we continue your interview, I'm going to sign off, and then I'm going to do a little digging. So what,
Yeah, I wanted to say something too. When slavery was over, so I know you being a historian, just because slavery was over doesn't mean that the plantation owners abided by the slavery over law. So
for sure.
Yes. And so if you're living on the slave owner's property and you're having children, and then he's enslaving those children when they become of age, regardless of what the government says, because they didn't go house to house necessarily making sure that this was enforced.
Correct. People are still being enslaved right now.
That's right. In the world, that's correct.
Yeah, and just like the census says, my grandfather was born in 1862. It's not correct. It also my grandmother was born in 1885, so he couldn't have been dead. And so.
Right. So you all can actually go and correct those census records. So Rakaya, you wanted to give us a comment?
I wanted to say that although slavery was officially over, a lot of those people became indentured servants, another form of slavery, where they were sharecroppers, where they lived on the land, but they had to slave on the land. So the language, the lingo gets a little confusing, because as we speak right now, quite a bit of us are still enslaved. I'll leave that alone. Why am I saying that? Because if you're working 3 or 4 part-time jobs to pay $1,600 and something rent a month, that's slavery. Yes. Okay, go back to you, Mama Zelda. Love you.
So I'd like to give a little historical perspective to your fascinating book. In 1619, many Americans' introduction to U.S. history is the arrival of 102 passengers on the Mayflower in 1620. But the year earlier, in 1619, 20 enslaved Africans were brought to the British colonies against their will, ushering in the era of American slavery. I'd like to add to that the Spanish, that is the British history, but the Spanish were here in 1587, and Filipino people also brought people enslaved in the 1500s. So Americans were celebrating the British bringing Africans
Slave.
enslaved people and 400 years of slavery, because slavery has been here since much earlier than that. So I wanted to go ahead and further explain that 400 years on the captive's arrival has reached nearly every major moment in American history. But if you can't read cursive writing, our children and the generations beneath us will not be able to read American history, which is all in cursive. In 1661, the first anti-miscegenation statute prohibiting marriage between races was entered in the books. And I have marriage records for my family back to the 1690s. So it's not that it didn't happen, it's that my first American ancestor came in 1658. So I have records all the way back, but it's a matter of knowing how to find those records. And we'll be doing shows on how to find your genealogy and how to get it back further, because I am one of the few African American people in the world that has their African ancestry to 948 BC and my European ancestry to 149 AD. And I put it online back to 1235 AD. But in 1776, the Declaration of Independence came about that embraced the first lines that all men were created equal and they were endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights and not extend to the rights of slaves, African Americans. And when we talk about slavery in America, we are omitting Hispanic people who were enslaved, Filipino, so many different nationalities of people were enslaved here. And it flourished initially, Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, which was more than 50% of the population by 1776. Eight of the first 12 U.S. presidents were slave owners. Proponents of slavery supported the efforts of groups like the American Colonization Society. Almost 100 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, Zelma's grandfather was born. After
what?
After the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Okay.
It didn't apply to him because he was a black person. Yes.
Yeah, I had something too. Before they came over, there was already a lot of heavily melanated people already in the United States.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, and there's a museum in Washington D.C. It's called the Native American Museum. And if you go into the museum, a lot of the Native Americans were heavily melanated people. So
they are. Yeah,
yeah,
darker than both all of us.
Yes, yes. So and you there's a book called The First People that's in the museum, and in First People it looks like an African person, you know. And so these people were heavily melanated before. What they did when they put them on the reservations, if you had 5 children, if two of them were light skinned and 3 of them were dark skinned, they would take the dark skinned children and take them off, and they would enslave them, and you could keep the light skinned children. And so it's like they whited them out. They whited them out, and that's how we got, the modern.
Some of them are fake.
For sure. And mentioning that, it's really fascinating. This past week, I'm a researcher, and I was sent a research project by Ambassador Abraham in Pontiac, Michigan. He's also in the Hebrew Israelite community. A great scholar just died who had written about Native American people and the fact that they were melanated and Hebrew here in America. So they called me up and said, well, what do you think about that? I said, well, absolutely. And to deny that would then deny the scripture that said God dispersed people with different languages to the north, south, east, and the west. Because I had
going in. It's called Tuscaloosa. It means black warrior because the chief there was black. Indian chief.
Indian chief.
So it's yes.
Ra, are you ready?
It's just that we don't know those things. Rakaya, come on.
In 1865, the grandfather, at the age of 12, became a slave. The same year, the Civil War was started. According to Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War was fought to keep America whole and not for the abolition of slavery.
Yes.
At least
Save the union.
initially, Southern states said they wanted to secede to protect states' rights, but they
Yeah.
knew, but they were really fighting to keep people enslaved. Lincoln
Yeah.
took on the fight for the freedom of slaves. Some historians have suggested because he was worried uh, of the British, that the British would support the South. It is in itself declares self determination and recognize the South as a separate entity.
Before you go
Uh,
on, Ra, before you go on, let me say that Lincoln, as president, even though he had slaves, he really wasn't for slaves. He wanted to try to end slavery. But then the people in the South are saying, well, hell, we were enjoying slavery. So maybe we should pull away from America and become separate. So Lincoln was afraid that the British might want to just reach over to the southern states and claim that part of America. So he went along with slavery so that to keep the Britons from being in communication with and perhaps even trying to take over the South. Back to you, Rob.
Well, that's one
yeah, there
state.
were a lot of things at stake. There was a lot of money involved in free labor, so it was a very sticky situation where there are
Hmm.
where there are any people in your family or community you know of that fought in the Civil War. Roughly 200,000 African Americans, including former slaves, served in the American Civil War
Hmm.
and never got noticed. About
Hmm.
2.75 million soldiers fought in that Civil War, 3 million for the North and 750,000, of which roughly 27% were blacks from the South, according to historian Bell. As a child, were you aware that a war was going on? At what age did you realize that you were
Wait.
black? And what?
Excuse me, Rob. Give her a chance to answer the question. You asked
Oh,
her
should
Well,
I ask
as a
one question at
child,
a time? Okay.
did you know about the war when you were a
which
child?
war? The Civil War
Yeah.
or the Korean War? As a child, no, we wasn't taught too much about the Civil War. We just told that we came over
Okay.
on slave ships, and that we was all doing our own thing.
Hmm.
My grandmother, the one who enlightened me.
All right. Give her next question. I really want to
You,
see her answer for that one.
at what age did you realize that you were black? And what did that mean to you?
Oh, that was clues all my life. People talking, KKK burning crosses, and and
I
they
mean, were you 5 years old? Were you a
without
teenager?
during this time
When
about
did
5 years
being
old.
black meant something?
Well, I don't think I knew too much at 5. I
No,
I knew they
no.
looked
I'm
good.
not saying I expected you to know about slavery at 5, but I'm saying when did you
Oh,
actually become aware that black people were treated differently, and what did that mean for you at that
well, I
stage
guess
in your life?
before I was 10, I'm sure they're like 9 years old because people will talk. You hear things, and then we saw a lot too.
Hmm.
Crosses burning and his and hers. Like bathroom. We had our own bathroom. The other people had their own bathroom, and we had ours to ourselves because ours said colored and theirs says white only. And oh, there was just lots of signs everywhere. Even
Okay.
in elementary school, we knew where our books came from. We knew that they had
Okay.
been used before we got them. They had been used. Some of them ruined, but they tried to keep them in pretty good shape. So
Okay.
we wasn't taught too much. Or even with your hair.
Hmm. Okay.
With your hair, even with
Yeah,
your
Got
my
it.
even yeah, with my hair. They made us think our hair was ugly. So one day I asked my brother, I said, when is my hair gonna look like theirs? And he told me not to hold my breath, that it wasn't gonna. So it's still like that. It's still the same. He was right.
I have
Yes.
started reading the book, Zelma, and I'm loving the stories, and there's many of them. Will you share maybe just a couple of short stories in the books, like when you were in New York, when you guys were going up there trying to get jobs? Share with us just a little tidbit from the book.
Okay. Uh, we would look, after graduated from school, a lot of us looked forward to going to New York on those we call them sleep-in jobs, and some of them wasn't cracked up what they was cracked up to be. So I finally got my chance to go, and I went. And I didn't work for a very good person. She had been poor, when they are poor, they sometimes they are different, not used to anything. So my shift was supposed to start at 10 o'clock every morning. But no matter what time her son woke up, I was sermon. I had to go to him.
Mm,
And like I said, I had a cat. I had asthma. The cat slept in my bed. I warned them about that. They didn't listen. They had a son that kicked me. I'm the only person in the house he kicked. So I
woo,
warned her that I don't want him kicking me. I'm not a dog. And one day when she was feeding him, I was on my way to the garage, and he reached out and kicked me. And before I knew it, I had hurt the little boy. And
mm,
the little boy started crying, and she says, "Zelma, Zelma, that is something his sister would do." I said she couldn't do it that hard. But I really didn't mean it. If I had been thinking, I wouldn't have done that. And so when I would ride back and forth to Philadelphia on the weekend, I would meet other girls on the bus, and they told me that I don't think I told, I just left, that I should talk to her because I wasn't supposed to be working at any hour they wanted me to. And so when I went back, I had got sick of it. So I had I was gonna call a taxi to pick me up, be ready to pick me up Monday morning before anybody got out of bed because you could order taxis
mhm,
for any time you want. But
mhm.
then she had me to do something I wasn't supposed to do. And I said, well, I'm leaving Monday anyway. I shouldn't have told her that
Oh,
because she worked me. Like I said, she got the butter from the duck. So Monday
mm,
morning, she took me back to the station. And for the people I want to go back and get my fare back to Philadelphia. But they wanted to send me somewhere else on another job, and I didn't want to go. But I didn't tell them, so I
mhm,
sit there. And I had interviews, and when it started getting dark, I realized that they wasn't going to pay my way back. So
mm.
I took my own bus, my own money, and got my ticket. And I had a friend. It had people we had started. You know how we mess up everything. Those
Mhm,
people, if they was on the way to New York or Michigan or whatever, they would get off the bus where they had family and
uh-huh.
live with them. So they caught on. So now they would have somebody waiting at the bus station to put you back on the bus.
Mm,
And when my friend got off the bus in the city where she had family, they made her get back on the bus
mhm,
because I think the next stop would be hers. And the place that
mhm,
the people that I was working for, oh, that was nice agency, good agency. But then out of everything, there's always some bad. So the
yeah.
agency that I worked for, they was they were different. They had this room. There was this room that was really filthy. And I got up to
Hmm.
go to the bathroom, and the bathroom was worse than the service station. So, but what make it bad about this is those girls had to sit in that room every night if someone didn't take them home. And so this rich, very rich woman interviewed me. And she said, do you know I had three girls in the last 3 weeks? and the last one left stole a spool of red thread. And then she asked me, "What do you people want? What do Martin Luther King want?"
Huh.
I told her, I cursed, and she said, "Zelma," and we don't talk like that in here. I said, "Well, I do." So I waited around until I got tired. But oh yeah, there was a girl there from Tennessee who was only 13 years old, and they only supposed to hire you at 18. And somebody had found out her age and had voted back. So she was sitting there. I don't know what they did with her, but you could tell she didn't even look like she was 13. So people like that, you never knew who took them home. They could some
Mm.
proverb took them home. So it was just dangerous in a way. And
Right, and she's talking about, and the strange thing is she's talking about the North. So, so no matter whether you lived in the South or whether you lived in the North, there were still consequences for being black.
Yeah.
She's talking about the North. She said New York. This is New York.
this is New York. And they would girls was hungry and away from home, but they didn't even offer them anything to eat. So it's another girl who lived in the neighborhood. It was a basement. So she came and she sit in the window one day, and we know we was talking about it. We had to go down the street, go around the corner, and buy food for the girls. And after we fed them, they wouldn't let them talk to us anymore. They pulled them to the side. But I don't blame them. They was a long way from home, and I was going home, and I couldn't feed them tomorrow, and I couldn't take them with me. So it was a mess. You just never know what our
Mm.
people
Mm.
going
How did
through.
your parents, your parents, how did you feel, Zelma, when you saw what your parents had to go through? How did that affect you? But then on the other hand, what did the parents say to you to keep you sane or to keep you from wanting to beat people up? What did the
Yeah,
parents do?
but what did the parents say? They said leave
Your
those white
parents.
folks alone. They said leave those
Ah.
white folks alone. Even though our people was making less money, paying more tax, even paying voting tax to vote, they had everything.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm.
didn't, they didn't allow us anything. They didn't want, just like the natives, they took all the land. They could have left some, but they just wanted to. I don't know how it made me feel. I look at them out the corner of my eye, but
It
I
was
thought that was the way it's supposed to be, and it
yeah.
was trauma but my parents, it made them feel worthless, and
Mm.
it
Mm.
made them feel like these people was better than them. Like when my
Mm-hmm.
daughter got in trouble, white people was treating her with prejudice in her school. And somebody in the neighborhood when I lived in South Carolina said those children don't go to school for the white people to love them. They go there for them to to learn. But I said I don't want my kids feeling like I did. I don't want them
Mm-hmm.
thinking anybody is better than them.
Mm-hmm. 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 I've
Yeah.
only got one more question for you. I know Ra and Nana has some other questions, but my last question would be: at some point, when you really realized that you were writing a book, who can you tell us may have inspired you?
My grandmother who told me all the things that she did. I wanted it known, and like I said, I wanted my children to know, because they told me, "Mom, we've been hearing those stories all our lives." I just wanted them to know what they had gone through
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Coach?
and be blessed, because because at the Holy after the Holocaust, those people tell their people never to forget, but they want us to
Mm-hmm.
forget. And if you
Mm-hmm.
forget, you can end up back where you was.
Mm-hmm.
They don't love you like they say they do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ron, you have any more questions for her?
How once you wrote the book, how were you able to get the a publisher? Who proofread the book, and so forth and so on?
Oh, well, Queen Mother, she gave me a capable person, but I was up in the air because I asked him how much would it cost, and he said he wouldn't know because he, didn't know what he had to do, what had to be done, and everything. But I still was going to try for him. But then at my birthday party, one of the sisters, I was telling her, and she said, "My husband been a publisher for 30 years. Talk to him." I went over when I got my chance to talk to him. I told him my situation, and he said, "Okay, I'll tell you what you do. You edit it and send it to me," because I was finished. And when I started editing, I knew what he meant. So then one day he was at then one day he was at the house, and I was edited, and he came over and said, "Let me see what you got." And he got it. He took the book, and from there, and I asked him, I said, how much, we'll know what the budget was. And he'll tell me. And he said, whatever you're comfortable with giving me, I'll take it. Anything you give me, I'll take. I said, how about $20? Anyway, he took the
Wow.
he took the book. He took
She's
the book.
joking. She's joking.
Yeah, he took the book. When I seen it, he would, every step he would console me, send me information. But he took the book and just went on with it. It was a blessing. It was a stone blessing.
It was
Because I
fast
was
too.
tired of it. Yeah, next week or two, he was telling me that
He edited the book. He sent the book to us after he edited it for us to look at it. And then we said some changes. We sent it back to him. He edited it again. And it was ready. I think it was like less than a month.
in a few weeks,
Yeah, a few weeks.
he told me a couple of weeks. He said it was copyright. It was done.
Yeah, he sent the copyright to the states, and so he got it copyrighted written in the United States. And he said it was ready. He said, who has an Amazon account? Let's put it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Here in Nairobi, we said we would like to have some books here. He said, okay, I'll get my printer to print them, and then he sent us quotes on do you want 25? Do you want 50? He sent us the quotes on how much each batch would cost. And so we ordered some here in Nairobi, and it came to the house like 2 days later.
Wow. I
Yeah.
just want people to get a sense of when there's something you want to do and it's your season to do it, how everything just falls in place,
Yes,
right?
That's
Just
right.
began to fall in place.
Right.
Coach, are you there with your last question?
I think we've lost Raquel. Oh, there she
Mama,
is.
Let me see if we can get her back in.
Uh-oh. She came in.
Mama Zema, how are you
There she
marketing the
is.
book? How are you getting the information out? Are you going to sign up with Amazon?
Oh, we already
She's
did.
on Amazon.
My publisher already, he did everything. I didn't have to do one more thing. All I had to do was write, and he did the rest. He and my
Good.
daughter, they worked together. I told him I was through with it. My eyes are tired.
Yeah. He put the book
And
on
one
Amazon.
last question.
Go ahead.
One last question. What message would you like to leave for the youth? What message out of the entire book? What is it that you want them to get?
Out of the book, okay. I wanted them to get what the Jews wanted their people to get out of the Holocaust. Never forget. Never forget. Because they are no different than they were then. In fact, they're worse. After the Civil War, something was better and something was worse. And every day I'm seeing where they are, they back to their old self. They back to their ancestors' ways. Just like we, from our ancestor ways, is in a way, they have their ancestor characteristic too. So don't forget. what your ancestors went through, and they will put you through it again if you allow it.
So let me ask you, what can we expect next from you?
Oh, I wanted to write another one about my father's side and about myself.
Well, we'll be
Oh,
excited and waiting to get it. Do you have any advice for other people who are having writer's block or who have the idea or want to write about their family but have not gotten it out yet?
Just there are people that will encourage, and you just think, just sit and
Okay.
remember, remember, because it's back there.
Now, did you have to set aside time and go off by yourself to write, or are you the type of writer that can just write no matter what's going on in your environment?
She can write no matter what's going on in her environment.
There's something in me for a long time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my children say, I
Yeah.
never let them forget it.
Yes, we've heard all the stories at least 50 times each. So all she had to do was put it on paper. All she had to
Okay.
do was write it down.
My husband passed, and I just found me something to do, something else to do.
Yeah. So we're going to put the details of how you can get your hands on this book and links on all of our social media. And we have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. It's going to be all over. And we're encouraging you today, go out to Amazon.com if you're not in Nairobi, Kenya, and get your copy. The most important thing you can do is teach a person to read, get a copy of the book for your local library, get a copy of your book for your family reunion, to get tips on how to start writing your book and things that you want to include in your book and talk to your family about. Because one of the most important things that we heard today is that they started talking, and she talks to her students and children and friends and family and won't let them forget what happened. So
right
my
on.
question to our viewers today is, there you go, Dash, is do you let people forget, or are you sharing your family history and information with your younger generations where they would be able to write this book? If not, take it from our guest today. Talk to your family, children, and friends about your family's experience, because somebody near you could help you further document your experience. And after we get off the show today, then I'm going to go ahead and pull up some more information, because I have extensive South Carolina archives. And my
Okay.
family is also from South Carolina. And it's hundreds of names that I'm related to. And the holidays spelled two different ways are one of them.
Okay, well,
Ah,
we like Scots. We like Scots, and we was in the same county as Coretta Scott King. That's where my people was sharecroppers in.
Yes, a holiday is my father's name, but still, they were from South Carolina.
They were Native
Yeah.
American too.
Yeah, they were native. Yeah. Like my son said, they were native. They were Native American, indigenous roots, Cherokee roots.
Okay,
So,
so that's South Carolina and North Carolina. There weren't boundaries there. You have to realize in our country, the Native Americans didn't have boundaries like they divided the map up. And the same thing in Africa. So you have family that stretches all across continents and countries and states. But just because people have put it in a nice box doesn't mean that's the only area your family can be found in.
Yes.
So we are very excited. And Rob, we're going to bring you back for the mental health segment, because
well,
we
before
are
we go
running
there,
out
I
of
have
time.
a couple of things I want to say to Miss Zelma, and thanking her for
Okay.
being a part of the Black History Month theme, which is about African Americans in the art. And the specific art that you've taken on is the art of writing. I want to
Yeah.
tie into the very first woman, or the very first book that was written, in fact, by an African American person, was in the year 1773. The first
Mhm.
published African American book, Negroes, Black as Cain. Uh, they was trying to tell you in the book that they were not inferior to white people. In fact, in matters of the spirit, they said that they could just join in. What that book was about is, as a Christian, quote unquote, we could just join in. That's what they were writing about in that first book. But Miss Wheatley was determined to show by her mastery of her form and her meter, she wanted to show them that Black people could write. And she was a poet, and she was very
Yes.
capable, and
Yes.
she had very good artistic expression. So 1773 over to the year 2024. Ms.
Well,
Yes.
Velma?
in 1970, 1773, I believe it was a church built by slaves in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
spoke there.
Tell them about that, Nana.
and on the back of the pews, they wrote cursive Hebrew.
Yeah.
And so not only were they able to write, but they were able to write in cursive, which was a
Yes.
high level of intelligence.
Right.
So when they came to America, they already had a certain level of intelligence. Not only that, they didn't go to Africa and just get people hanging from trees. When they went to Africa, they got the architects, the nurses, the doctors, the
Yes.
kings, princes, the
killed them all.
astrologers, the people who are able to plant,
Skilled
gardens
people.
and things like
Right.
that. So they had a nation to build, so they needed everybody to have skills. And so that's when they went to Africa and pillaged Africa. They got the best of the best. On the other hand, in the Europe and stuff, when they started sending them over to America, they sent the people who were maybe criminals, maybe you were a rapist, maybe you were a murderer, and so they wanted to just get you out of the country. And so these are the type of people they started sending to America to populate America. So
Yeah.
the slaves, by a large majority, were more literate and were more intelligent than their masters. And so a lot of times the masters thought they were stupid or they were dumb because they couldn't speak English.
Right.
But here you got a master who can't even write in his own language, or he's illiterate, or he's a criminal. But the slave is very intelligent, and that's why America became so great, because of the type of people that they got to make sure that they built it up.
And not just melanated people from Africa, but from South America, from Australia, all over the world. They were sent for slavery in over 200 countries. So my family had migrated from East Africa to West, and they were sent to 82 different countries that we've documented around the world to build the world. And don't just think, one of the things that I'm noted for, they say I'm a historian on white slavery, because people being white and enslaved is something that we don't talk about, or that Black people are all people is another thing that we don't talk about. So whether you're light, whether you're dark, you can have children of all ranges, and those people have been mistreated because they're too tall, too short, too light, too dark, too smart, too dumb, too strong, too weak, and discrimination still goes on. So the message of this show today is forgiveness. Remember to forgive yourself. And one thing we wanted to tell you, do not say anything bad about yourself. And Zelma, I want to tell you, your son shared that with us. Don't say negative stuff about yourself. If somebody says, "Oh, that's a beautiful dress," don't say, "Oh, this old thing." Just say thank you.
Another dress. Yeah.
Just say thank you.
Well, I do
And
believe
accept
that
the
we was
compliment.
treated worse in slavery than anybody else. I believe we was treated worse.
80,000 were killed in one day.
Yeah, it's been documented a few times.
Deuteronomy 28 lets us know that we were treated worst.
People have been treated bad and are still treated bad right now.
As a nation.
And I agree. But what happens is the lack of information, because the people doing the oppressing don't want to keep records, but they did keep records. And so we have access to the British, to the German. I'm born in Europe, in Germany. So I was taken to museums everywhere, and that's the only reason I know about all of this oppression worldwide. So
Yeah.
let me go ahead and put this book up again, The Revelations of a Sharecropper's Granddaughter. And we're going to get more into sharecropping as we go on through Black History Month. We can continue this dialogue on all of our social media pages with you through the week. Tell us about your family's experience. Tell us about your views, because your view is important. And one thing that we realize is calling each other up and having girlfriend conversations is you need somebody to vent your fears, your emotions, your hurts to. Don't hold those inside, because those will affect your health.
Indeed,
Yeah.
they will. As you see, Queen Mother is holding up her copy of the book, which I got
Mhm.
right here in Nairobi, Kenya. And one beautiful thing inside is I have a personal autograph from Miss Zelma.
Ooh.
Now, I don't know if you're going to get that. I don't know if you're going to get that, but you can have your copy of the book through Amazon. Just Google Amazon, all right, and the title of the book. Just Amazon and the title of the book, Revelations of a Sharecropper's Granddaughter. Take it
Yeah.
from there. One thing, and I know we've running over time a little bit here, but we wanted to speak a little bit today, as we are still in Black History, about mental health and the arts. And Coach Ra has some very, very, very important information for you about that. Coach Ra, we can't hear you.
Mama Zelma, I'm gonna wait till I get to Kenya to get my copy signed by
But when you
you.
travel, when you travel to Kenya,
But uh, Queen, Queen, I think we should table that till next week if possible on mental health. If it's okay with everybody, because it's 10:07, and so if that's okay with everyone, I'll I yield to Mama Zelma.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's what we want to do, that just means that Black History is going to be extended into Women's History Month, because we've been pushing things back and back, and that's great. We can do that. We like to stick to the time zone, but we had said earlier, if we have to run over to get your story in, we will, and we can hold it till another week. And Nana also has a very exciting story about trauma and slavery. So we want to hear those excerpts, right? So for
Yeah.
now, given where we are, do I
Time
don't
for
even
our
know if we
kiss.
want to do the. Go ahead. Someone say something.
I did. I said, so let's go ahead. We always end Zelma with a kiss with our audience to share love throughout the world, because we've got flooding in Ghana, flooding throughout California, heading all the way to the East Coast. And so wherever you are, we want you to know that somebody cares about you too. We've chosen to focus on Ghana. And if you all will pull out your cell phones, that is the QR code for one of the ways that you can donate to the Queen Mother Fund for the eastern region of Ghana, in the Volta region that is flooded. The Red Cross is on the ground in Ghana, and they're providing tents, they're providing food and other necessities to the people who have been affected. They're going to be there through the month of February, and it is so important. So you can go to the GoFundMe page. We also have PayPal set up. We have quite a few different ways for you to give, bank to bank. Get in touch with us on our Facebook pages. But as you can see, the people there, it flooded up to the rooftops in their homes, and they had to be extracted on boats and lost everything. Houses and foundations cracked, schools are out. And when we had our guest from the Volta region, he had to climb up in a tree and hold up his cell phone to get reception to be on the show with us. So we take so many things for granted. Please give
Yes, we
a
do.
prayer for everybody. And again, I'm going to put her book up. Queen Mother's holding it up. There we
Yes.
go. The Revelations of a Sharecropper's Daughter by
Revelations of a Sharecropper's Daughter.
Zelma High Holiday.
And her
And we look forward,
publisher
and
is in the chat.
thank you from this very talented family. I'm so
Yes.
excited. We didn't get to chance to ask her what got them to move to Africa and expatriate, sounds like. But what I'd like to do is plan to bring her back and her family members back and have all of them on the show so that we can talk to all of these talented people.
Hmm. Well, you know how Queen Mother feels about it. I have been promoting that this
Yes.
family is here. I resonate with them because
Yes.
what they bring is a family of everything we as a people need. So Queen Mother will do everything in her power to let you know that they're here and the different healing arts and the things that they bring to us and for us, all in one family. So
Nobody
it's
ever took
just,
that much interest in me.
it's wonderful.
Say that
It's
one more
wonderful.
time, Zelma.
No one ever took that much interest in me as Queen Mother.
But
Oh,
know that God knows where you are and knows each and every number of strands of hair on your head and on your children, and is going to make sure. It says your gift will make room for you.
hallelujah.
Kyle, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I really I am impressed and encouraged by the fact that a family collectively sat down in unity and was able to come to an agreement to move together as one. That is huge, and that is something to talk about because that is some of the challenges that we're having within families right now. But kudos, love you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what it is for me with this family is I realize that they are history in the making. You know, years into the future, 50, 100 years, this is the family that's going to be in the books talking about who we are and what we're doing and what all they brought to Kenya, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
I'm very happy that they're here. And if you'd like to get to meet them, let us know. We can arrange for that. We have one more week in Black History next week. It may run into Women's History Month. That's what it's looking like. But it's okay. You know why? Because this is our show. And we do it the way we want to do it. So, Mama Zelda, you got it. We're going to have you back again, Sweetie Pooh. And Queen Mother would like to work with you in booking schools to hear your story because this is real live African American history. And we have a real live African American writer in our presence. So I'm just
Yes.
delighted about that. Give our love.
Her
Thank
publisher,
you.
her publisher is in the chat. So if somebody looking to write their book, Anthony Briggs, he's in the chat. And also we'll be celebrating Queen Mother on March 10th as Soul Vegetarian. So if you're in Nairobi, come on out.
Oh yeah,
So we put
Yeah,
up
that's true.
Anthony Briggs on the screen, Zelma's publisher. Yes, come on out, join them. And Queen Mother often
Well,
tells us
let's
about the
get that name.
gatherings.
Anthony Briggs,
Yes.
okay? Zelma's
and
publisher.
I have a
If
friend
we
in our
Google his
group with.
name, if we
Okay.
Google his name, will we get anything on him?
Yes, I can't post it, but we'll put it on the Facebook chats all throughout the week. And we'll go out and like, share, and comment on everybody's social media. And Odessa will make sure to get yours. Cute. Pronounce your name for me.
Codessa.
Codessa.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I was pronouncing it like my relatives' names, but Kidessa, we're going to make sure to post your social media. We had your wonderful brother with to remind everybody with the Tibetan spiritual healing bowls.
That's my
And
son. It's my youngest son.
okay. I thought it was your brother. Well, awesome individual. We had so many viewers and comments and likes and shares, and they want him back. And Queen Mother uses the Tibetan healing bowls on a regular basis, shares the links with me so that the healing powers of the bowls just keeps going forth and going and going and going.
Mhm.
So, Queen Mother, do you want to take us out with our kiss? Because we end our show with love in case you don't have somebody there to hug or kiss you
Nana,
today.
I'm still on I'm still delayed. Will you give us will you give us our outro, the kisses?
I
I'm on
sure
delay.
will. Okay, you sure are. A big delay. So we take our left hand and we blow a kiss. Then we take our right hand and we blow a kiss. And then both hands together and blow a kiss. So everybody all together, take your left hand. Come on, Zelma. They want your love too. And now the right hand. We're waiting on Queen Mother's screen to catch up with us for the right hand. And now both hands. Boy, she's really got a big delay. That's what happens when you try to do a show in 3 or 4 different time zones.
Yeah, so
That's why it's 3. You got 3.
Yes, we've had slowdowns all over the country and all over the world in terms of our computer. Listen, she's a long kisser anyway because we need lots of love. Hers is always longer than everybody else's. Your son can attest to that. But you know what? We have a good time and we get together as girlfriends, and we want to thank you and your family and our viewers for joining us today. Oh, okay. Hold on. Hey, there's Anthony's, aka Sar Israel. Pronounce his name.
Sar like car, Sar.
Yes. And the last name.
Israel.
Okay, that's how I was pronouncing it. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So, also,
Is that brother
10th, we
Tabaka?
celebrate.
Is that brother Tabaka?
No.
The publisher. Yeah.
No, that's
So
that's
up on the
another
screen. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't sing happy birthday.
To who? Oh, that's
It's
right. It's not me. It's not time for me.
I know, but we got February birthdays. There's so much to remember. But yes, if it's your birthday, we want to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes, and
Happy
we love you.
birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
And thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak show today.
All right.
Take care.
All right,
We love
I'm gonna go ahead and
you.
end the stream for today.
All right.